Hello, instructor in class. Welcome to Learning Theories by Myrick Lewis. Learning theories are a very integral part of the framework of our education system. Learning theories allow instructors and organizations to design courses that pull the best out of students and engage them on their level. Throughout this short presentation, we're gonna highlight four of those learning theories. Those four learning theories are behaviorism, cognitivism, constructivism, and social development. Those four learning theories have a unique representation of the learning process. Behaviorism relies on stimulus and response. Cognitivism is a mental models and constructive learning perspective. Constructivism is inquiry-based and discovery learning. Social development is based off your system of values and ideas, and it provides a code of social exchange. Now we're going to start out by talking about behaviorism, the first of the four learning theories. Behaviorism is a learning theory that is an active process in which learners discover and construct new ideas and concepts based off their current and prior knowledge. Bruner believed that learner selects information and constructs ideas based off that information and makes decisions by relying on their own cognitive structure of information. There are some key principles of behaviorism. That one of those key principles are learning happens when a correct response is demonstrated following the presentation of specific environment stimulus. In other words, when you create something, you get a reaction. That's basically what behaviorism is. There are some goals of instruction for behaviorism. The one I would like to highlight is instruction is to elect the desired response from the learner who is represented with a target stimulus. So in other words, if I want a certain reaction, I got to make sure that I'm setting a situation to get that reaction. All right, number two of the four is cognitivism. Cognitivism is Paget believed the cognitive development occurs through a sequence of successive quantitative changes in cognitive structure. Some of those key principles are learner is viewed as an active participant in the learning process. To me, that's the most important one. Learning is not a one-way street, it's a two-way street. The learner has to be an active participant. If not, then they're not learning. Some of those goals are to communicate or transfer knowledge in the most efficient way. That's why it's so important to understand learning theories. That means that you have to have a wide variety of ideas. You have to be innovative, creative, in that way to actually hone in on the cognitive processes of the student. All right, number three of the four is constructivism. Constructivism learning is an active process in which learners discover and construct new ideas. The issues that guide this process must be personal and societally relevant. Bruner believed that the learner selects information, constructs ideas based on that information, and makes decisions by relying on their own cognitive structure and information. There are some key principles here. The one I would like to highlight is knowledge is embedded in the context in which it is used, authentic tasks, and meaningful, realistic settings. So that is the key that is really important when you're designing learning models and designing units, because you want to make sure that the information is ingrained in the students, so that way they don't forget it after the lessons is over. It's something that sticks with them and is ingrained in their cognitive processes. Some of the goals of instruction when dealing with constructivism is build personal interpretations of the world based on individual experiences and interactions. Learning is an active process of constructing rather than acquiring knowledge. Do not structure learning for the task, but engage learner in the actual use of the tool in the real world situations. So you can provide situations along with that idea, and that way they can put the two together and it'll all make sense to them. The fourth and final learning theory we'll be talking about during this presentation is social development. Social development is probably the most common and the one that resonates with the most students because it's based off um, a relationship individuals have that is unique to humans. Every function in a child's culture development appears twice, first on a social level and then later on the individual level, first between people, then inside the child. Some of the principles of social development is number one, historical knowledge through generations. So knowledge is passed on through your ancestors. Social knowledge is attained through contact with someone else. So it's the ideals and principles that you have during your interactions with your classmates, your students, your friends, and your teachers. Adaptation, knowledge obtained by acting on the environment. So it's how you adapt to a situation and what you do when you are encountered with that situation. The goals of instruction in the social development is um, signal signalization, something that is common to all organisms. So, for instance, if you want a person to get hungry, you cook something that touches that nerve, and they smell it, and it makes them hungry. Signification: humans have evolved to a different level. Biological and social historic creation and use of culturally based signals and symbol systems. All right. In conclusion, this presentation provided a brief description and some key principles and goals of instruction for behaviors and cognitism and constructism and social development learning theories. Understand these theories provide education with instructional tools, techniques, and strategies that promote learning. And they are so important. If you want to be a successful teacher, a successful educator, a successful administrator, you have to be aware of these learning theories because they are what drives a person, and that's what educators have to tap in on or hone in on to get the best out of their students. You can find all the information that I provided in this presentation at the following references. And some good reading. If you never knew what learning theories was until you approach this course, it is something that a lot of us do and don't know nothing about because we're doing it indirectly, but we don't really know the science behind it. We don't really know what it's called or what it is. So by reading up on the different learning theories, you have a better idea and be able to better educate and engage and motivate your students. Thank you for your time. This has been a presentation on learning theories. I hope that you have gained a better insight on what learning theories are and how they can be applied to your individual education context.